Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in today to the Driven to Better podcast, where everyone we talk to is driven to make business better. I'm your host, Justin Sisley, and on the show today is Giotto Troia, co-founder of Mobcraft Beer. He's going to share with us his journey to entrepreneurship and tell us how the crowdsource phenomenon has made Mobcraft one of the most unique microbreweries in the world. So stay tuned to hear about it. We've got a great show. Thanks for joining us today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about you personally, and then give us just a brief rundown of your business and what Mobcraft is doing these days.
So I'm Giotto Troia, born and raised in Madison, went to school at UW-Whitewater, sort of got the entrepreneurial bug there, and now I'm starting Mobcraft. It's a small microbrewery in Madison, Wisconsin. Basically, we're a crowdsourced brewery, meaning that we have people's recipes and beer ideas come into our website. We then allow people to vote on those recipes throughout a monthly voting process, and the most popular beer every month gets brewed. So, brand new beer every month based on crowdsourced recipes and votes. Okay, awesome. And I know I personally have tried a couple of your beers already, and I'm sure every month I'll be trying a new one from here on out. Really cool concept, just based on the whole crowdsourcing thing has blown up lately. So you guys found a very unique, awesome way to kind of play off the whole crowdsource phenomenon here. So you said you went to Whitewater, and you have you been an entrepreneur since you graduated, or how long has this been going on? Yeah, so pretty much, since I graduated, we've been sort of pursuing this craft brewery. But I did go into a traditional job right after college. I was a marketing analyst at Standard Imaging, their radiation treatment technology quality assurance company in Middleton. Okay. So not exactly the field that I wanted to be in, but the marketing, and definitely gained some useful tools there.
So they didn't let you drink there? There was no beer?
Correct, yeah. For some reason, they just frowned upon beers in the break room. I don't know.
Fair enough. So then you had this job, and then is Mobcraft, is this your first entrepreneurial venture?
No, hardly my first. Actually, I've been an entrepreneur of sorts since I was a little kid. I mean, I started out growing and selling hostas from my parents' garden out on the curb, and then I'd do like lemonade stands and just make this little festival on my parents' driveway for people to come and buy plants and drink lemonade and popcorn and stuff. But it sort of transitioned into, what every teenager does, mowing lawns, babysitting, all that stuff, pretty much finding different ways to make money. And then in college, we started a legit LLC called Liquidity H2O. It was a charity water company, which donated half of its proceeds to entrepreneurial endeavors in third world countries in Africa. And those basically entrepreneurial endeavors, we would supply them with funding for building their own, I guess you could call it like craft lighting company. So they'd be able to make things out of like the landfills in the area, and we'd give them the circuit boards and the technology to build lights out of them so that they could sell them to their villages and go fetch water in the middle of the night or whatever. So, as opposed to using the light of the moon, they had their own solar lights.
Yeah, very cool. And did that just kind of phase out, or did it fail, or just lost interest?
I wouldn't say it failed. We graduated, and it was a really cool company while we were in school, and we actually started it through the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization on campus at Whitewater, which I was highly involved in from the time I was a freshman until a super senior. But yeah, like I said, everybody just started graduating, and it sort of fizzled out. I wouldn't say it's dead or it died, but because that program that we were affiliated with is still going on. It's just in a different capacity. Like, we're no longer providing money for it, but it was definitely a really, really cool experience to see how we were directly helping people in those countries.
Yeah. So awesome. So now, obviously, you're on to Mobcraft. And is this something that you're doing full time, or do you have a side gig that you're doing too now, or how do you split your time up with Mobcraft?
Yeah, so it's 100% full time, if not 150 or 200% full time,
as it is, yeah.
Or more. So, but like I said before, I went straight out of college into sort of a normal gig that you would assume right out of college. But yeah, that was pretty much splitting my time until about 2 months ago, when we were sort of in the midst of growth and we really needed to, hit the pavement and start selling more beer and take that next step. So I wouldn't say I was forced into it, but it was definitely the right time to move into full-time Mobcraft.
Okay, that's great. And we asked that question because there are so many people out there who either want to start a business or have started a business, but you kind of walk that line for a while, mm-hmm. where you have the full-time job and then you try and figure out when that time is, if there is a time that you go full-time. I mean, plenty of people just keep it a side gig, but it's always interesting to hear, was there one single moment when you decided that, this is it, I need to quit the job, I need to go full-time into Mobcraft?
I don't know if there was a single moment. It was just sort of throughout the 2.5 years or so, or 2 years after college, that I was doing the other job with Standard Imaging. It was just sort of nagging at my heartstrings. Like, I really didn't want to do this, and I really wanted to focus full-time on Mobcraft. So just sort of, layer upon layer upon layer of dust, you're eventually going to break, And so I just got bored with it, and, my other two business partners really needed me, so...
And are they full-time into it too?
Yeah, so Henry went full-time into it May of 2013. Andrew went into it December or January of 2014, I believe. And I was about 6 months behind Andrew. So
okay.
June or July.
So you're all full-time now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's great. I mean, having 3 full-time people that are supported by the business means
mm-hmm.
You guys are obviously doing something right. So getting started, did you... we hear a lot about bootstrapping these days, and Eric Reese's lean startup, that whole thing. Did you bootstrap it, or did you start out with funding? Was it personal loans, family loans? How'd you end up getting things going?
So we started out bootstrapping. It was my bank account, Henry's bank account, and Andrew's bank account pretty much wiped.
Okay.
We were able to do about $35,000 between us three. And get to a good pushing off point for, proving the business model worked and being able to basically apply for loans based on a product that we've produced already, and a good viable product and a solid business model that we made using that initial startup bootstrap money.
Okay. And did it start as this crowdsourcing type theme, or did you just start out just making beer and thinking maybe we'll make a microbrewery?
It's a really fun story, actually. So we started brewing beer. Promise don't tell anybody. Started brewing beer before we were 21, because you can buy hops, yeast, malt, and water, obviously, before you're 21.
You weren't drinking it, though, I'm sure.
Oh, no.
Of course not.
Don't get me wrong. But yeah, we were brewing beer in college. And shortly after college, we would, get everybody back together again and have these things we called brewathons. And everybody who homebrewed would get together at our friend's house in Fort Atkinson, and we would just brew beer all day. And then, a month later, we would come back and drink it.
Okay.
And it got to the point where people were saying, "You guys make really good beer. You should try to take this commercial." And we're like, well, we don't want to be another run-of-the-mill brewery making basic lagers, basic ales like ambers and pilsners. I mean, there's so many really good breweries out there that do those. We wouldn't even be in competition because we wouldn't be able to compete on volume.
Yeah.
So what would we be able to compete on? So we were like, well, let's try to be lean about it. Let's try to be more fluid than these other businesses that are other breweries that are out there. So we came across crowdsourcing back in college, and the main business that we encountered was called Threadless Tees, and It was a t-shirt company that never actually had an inventory of t-shirts, but they pre-sold t-shirt designs until they had enough pre-orders to justify the cost of making it and shipping those shirts out.
Yeah.
So they never had an inventory. They just pretty much took orders and then shipped them. So we wanted to do that with beer, and we thought that the easiest way to do that was through an online sort of thing. So our whole brewery business from the start has been like an online platform.
Okay.
But we also wanted to make different styles of ingredients or different styles of beers, because that's really what people want. I've had an amber, I've had a porter, I've had a pilsner. What I really want is like a chocolate raspberry porter or a cinnamon apple amber or something like that. And so we started taking beer idea suggestions from the crowd, and basically then you would submit the beer idea to us, we'd formulate a recipe around it, and we'd hold at the time it was a 1-week voting period, and there was 1 week available for you to basically say, I want this one, I want this one, I want this one, and the one with the most votes we would brew, and then a month later we were having people pick it up and trying it, and we proved that business model for about 15 months.
Okay.
And then June of 2013 we decided to take it commercial. We've since sort of tweaked the business model a little bit. Now it's a 3-week voting period. We are now able to ship directly to customers' doorsteps in 31 states and DC. And we've had to get a heck of a lot of licensing and a heck of a lot of permits and stuff just to do that. But yeah, it's been a long road, but we made it.
So you and your two business partners. What background do you guys have in this? I mean, obviously you just started brewing beer. That was for fun. But in terms of business, are you guys all business students from the university, or how'd you guys kind of figure out how to run the business itself?
So Henry and I met at UW-Whitewater in the business program. We both have marketing degrees, we both have entrepreneurship degrees. I also have a marketing degree, and he has a Spanish degree. But we really sort of connected in CEO, Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization. That's really what sort of formed our, entrepreneurship bug that we now have, and we've been doing for the last couple of years. Andrew, on the other hand, he has a microbiology background from UW-Madison, and the way that we met was we homebrewed with Tony, Andrew's twin brother, and every once in a while Andrew would come over and hang out. So we knew that he had a really solid science background, and once we all graduated, we pulled him onto the team.
Okay. So does he do a lot of the actual brewing type stuff then?
Yep.
With that background?
Yeah, he's the brewmaster. Pretty much Henry and I will help him when he needs it, but we trust him wholeheartedly to get the job done, and we know he'll do good. So.
Well, he's getting the job done. We're sampling the wares right now as we do the interview, so I can attest to the fact that the job is being well done. Let's talk about failures, because every entrepreneur has them. What was the biggest challenge getting this started for you guys? I know you said licensing and all that. Was that kind of your biggest challenge then?
That was by far the biggest challenge, because we go into it and you think that brewing is such a sexy industry. Beer is such a sexy industry because it makes people happy, and there's so many breweries out there, but most of what it is permitting, distribution, licensing. It's a nightmare to navigate if you don't have good beer lawyers or people that know the industry inside and out. And Henry really handles all the administrative, the law sort of side of things from our business model, considering that it's a very different business model from most production breweries. So he's really spearheaded that, and he knows a lot of people and has figured out the right people to ask the perfect questions to in order to get the answer that we want. Which is, we've found that beer is regulated not only federally but statewide, locally, municipally, and countywide. So it truly is it's a business in and of itself just to navigate the laws.
Yeah.
So
somebody listening who maybe wants to start their own small brewery, they don't have a Henry. What do you suggest that they do? I mean, where do you go to start to even begin to figure out what you need to do to get this licensing and permits and all that stuff?
Well, I'd say that there's a lot of you need to learn. You need to learn it. If you don't have if you don't know a lot of people in the industry, you've got to learn it yourself. So the first thing I do is get to know a lot of people in the industry so you don't have to learn it all yourself.
Okay.
The easiest thing to do would be to ask questions. And if you ask enough questions, sooner enough you're going to get the right answer. So that would be the first step.
Yeah, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Holds true a lot of times.
And another cool thing is that the brewing industry is always, a very friendly industry. People are very supportive of other breweries and startups, and ready and willing to answer any questions that you have. So
could it be because they're intoxicated all the time?
I wouldn't say all the
Everybody's
time.
Everybody's a little lubed up all the time.
There's a lot of business that needs to be done, but definitely a little beer never hurt.
So that you kind of got navigated now, seeing as how you got it figured out in 31 states, you probably have a pretty good strategy in place for that. Mm-hmm. Going forward, what's something right now that you're struggling with the most?
Well, we've found that our business model is very attractive for the local liquor stores and whatnot, and bars. They all want it because it's something new and innovative in the Madison area. The one problem that we're having is sort of getting people to get our business model, because the business model is different from any other brewery that's ever existed in the history of humanity. I mean, we are the technology age, and we are the technology brewery within the industry. So people don't understand that you can pre-order the beer on the website and get it shipped to your door, because no breweries have ever done that before. They don't understand the crowdsourcing aspect. You can't just submit a beer idea to any old brewery and have them consider it and actually maybe brew it. Yeah. And also the voting side of things. So it's a very complex, what seems like a complex idea to a normal beer drinker that's been drinking for 15 or 20 years, the local craft beers. It's completely different. So I guess getting people to understand the business model might be the most difficult thing right now. But we're trying to simplify it and get it down to a very concise statement of what we do. Okay. So have you experimented at all? I know the big thing these days is explainer videos. Have you tried to put one of those together yet, or thought about it? Yeah, we're actually doing one right now for there's a pitch competition coming up in Madison called Rise of the Rest, and basically we're trying to put together a 60-second video of about 30 seconds of who the founders are, and then 30 seconds about what the brewery is and how it functions and how it's different from a normal brewery. So if I may, I'm going to try and just describe it from somebody outside the business, and you can tell me how I do here, just so maybe who's listening can hear it from a layman's perspective, I suppose. So basically what happens is you get people who will submit an idea for a beer. They don't need to know an exact recipe. You guys handle that, correct? Yep. So they just need to have an idea for a beer that they think would be good. You guys will do the work of figuring out a recipe that'll make that beer. And then you take, the top 3 that you think would be the best each voting period? It's actually not that. We take the ones that have been approved by the government. So if they have really wacky ingredients, the TTB, or Tax and Trade Bureau, needs to approve those ingredients for use in beer. Okay. So once those recipes are approved, then we usually put about 24 different beer ideas onto the vote page at a time. Oh, you do? Okay. Yeah. So we started out doing 4, about 6 months ago? But we've since transitioned into more. People want more choices, and they want to see exactly the portfolio of what we can do. So. Okay. Hey everyone, thanks again for listening to the awesome interview we've got going on today. I just want to break in quickly to give a shout out and a thank you to our sponsors today, starting with MadisonInABox.com. It's the perfect gift for anyone with a connection to the great city that I call home, someone who used to live here or is a university alumni, or maybe just someone who would appreciate a taste of our local culture. Send friends, family, and loved ones the gift of Madison in a box. Head over to MadisonInABox.com to learn more about this unique gift idea. Our other sponsor for the show is Fruterra.co. Get ready-to-blend organic smoothies in under 30 seconds.
And the best part is they're shipped right to your door. There's several flavors to choose from, so head over to fruitera.co to learn more and support our sponsors. All right, back to this awesome interview. So you put out all those choices, and then people go to mobcraft.com.
Mobcraftbeer.com.
Mobcraftbeer.com, okay. And then they can vote on, can you vote on more than one?
You can, but you would then put in separate votes. Okay. So a vote justifies a pre-order. So in order to vote twice, you'd have to pre-order twice.
Got it. So people have to vote with their wallets.
Exactly. You have to have skin
Which
in
is
the game.
The best way to vote.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want a bunch of people saying, hey, I'd love this type of beer. The skunk-flavored beer would be fantastic. And then you make it and nobody buys it. So that's perfect. So you pre-order, which counts as your vote. And then after the 3-week voting period, you tally everything up and you let everybody know, hey, this is the one that won. If your vote did not win, no charge. You just don't get the beer that month, or you can still purchase the one that won, correct?
Right. You can transfer your order to the winning beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you can if you're in Madison, you can come pick it up. If you're not, you'll ship it to the door, assuming they're in one of those 31 states.
Exactly.
That allows it. Okay. All right. So there you have it. A little more than a 60-second explainer for that, but hopefully you get the gist of it. Very, very cool concept. And they're 4 packs of bombers too. So, and that's 22 ounces, right?
Yep.
Okay, so it's a 4-pack of 22-ounce bottles that you're ordering there. So we kind of got through the struggles that you're going through right now. Now we get to the fun part, which is what is one aspect of your business that's really working right now?
I would say just the concept. It's a viral concept. Like I said before, we're the hot new technology thing in the brewing industry. We're coming up with wacky flavors and people are totally supportive of it, and the industry's sort of flipped on its head and they're like, oh my god, I make a basic ale or a basic amber ale. How is this interesting? How do people like this? If they really want a cinnamon apple ale, amber ale, why would they just want a regular amber ale? So the really fun thing and the exciting thing is that people are just grabbing onto this and holding on tight, and they're like, I don't care where it takes me. This is what I want because it's my beer. I voted on it, and I'm basically determining the direction that Mobcraft goes every month. So it's a really cool customer engagement experience. We're basically developing a direct emotional connection with the customer.
That's very true, yeah. I mean, anytime you can get a customer to feel like they have a direct impact, and in this case you're not making them feel that way, you actually are giving them the opportunity to have a direct impact on what you make. Yeah, you're right, that emotional connection is there, and it just creates such a strong bond between you guys and the customer. I would imagine you guys get a lot of repeat customers. I mean, is that something you measure?
Yeah, we're just sort of getting into the analytics side of things now that we have our shipping functional. It's much easier to track people. Our new website is live, so the analytics on that are just sort of starting to trickle through and develop into something that you can actually grasp what's going on. But we're definitely seeing a huge bump in repeat customers and being able to see people's passion with the company. So people are ordering month after month after month, regardless of what ends up winning, because they think it's something really cool. But then you have the people that are really jazzed about this one beer and not so much about the other ones. So maybe they'll come back next month and do it though. So they're definitely not gone for good if they don't see something they like. They're like, oh, it's going to keep changing and it's going to keep evolving. I'm going to come back and see what's up next month.
Yeah, that's beautiful, because I just don't drink Budweiser, and I know I don't like it, and it's never changing. So I'm never going to be a customer of theirs. But this is great because every month you have the potential to either get back an old customer or gain a new one that never would have liked something before. So,
and we're not expecting everybody to like every beer. Mm-hmm. That's the fun of it, though, is that regardless if they don't like the Rabbit's Bounty, which was a carrot cake ale. It was an imperial brown ale brewed with carrots, brown sugar, and walnuts. Some people were like, this is weird. I don't know if I like this. And then other people were like, oh my gosh, that is awesome. I love the carrot flavor. I love the brown sugar body. It's just the best. So those people that didn't necessarily like it, they post on Untapped and all these beer review websites saying, it's not my cup of tea, but it's really interesting. And then you see them that they untapped something next month and they liked it. So you're seeing those people that are, not necessarily jazzed about one of the beers, but come back around for the next beer.
Okay, so let's talk about Untapped, actually. So is this, it sounds to me like it's some sort of, almost like a Yelp for beers?
It's like Foursquare for beers.
Foursquare for beers,
yeah.
Okay. So you post on there what kind of beer you're drinking and your thoughts on it?
And you can check into a location as well, so people can sort of get a grasp for what locations have decent beers and good beers and stuff. But yeah, you can give your thoughts on it. You can write a small review. Usually people post to Twitter or Facebook, so there's that character limit on it.
Okay.
But you can also rate it out of 5 stars. So it's almost an instant rate, because people that use Untapped go to the bar and untap it as they're drinking it. I think it's a preferred platform to Rate Beer or Beer Advocate, because Rate Beer and Beer Advocate are much more desktop friendly. So you're obviously not taking your laptop with you or your desktop with you to the bar, so you're not having that instant sort of response to the beer, and you're waiting. You might have a couple of beers in between, and by the time you get to your desktop, it's all muddled and sort of confusing, and people don't necessarily remember exactly all the details that they had planned to write. So
yeah, that's great.
But Untapped is definitely a hot thing. If you're a beer drinker, use Untapped.
Yeah, instant feedback. That's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So any big plans for the future that you can talk to us about? Anything new that you're going to do, or you're just mostly trying to expand what's going on right now?
So we're currently located in the House of Brews facility, which is on the east side of Madison. So it's an alternating proprietorship. We both own the equipment. We both brew on it. But we are planning to build out our own facility, hopefully within a year. But we'll be brewing in it. We don't know exactly where that facility is going to be. We're kind of going through, taking tours of different places and stuff. But yeah, I can tell you that right now the plan is to be in our new facility within a year. But I'll probably talk to you in a year and be like, that was a dumb idea. Why did I even say that? That's not going to happen.
All right, we're going to hold you to it.
Yeah, right.
This is mid-September of 2014.
Yeah.
We'll have you guys back in 2015, and if you're not in a new place, then shame on you.
Yeah, a lot of the timelines that we put together for Mobcraft too are just, they seem like we have plenty of time to do them, but then we get caught up in licensing and permitting issues and all these things, and it ends up being way longer. I mean, we just a couple months ago got the ability to ship to 31 states, and that was something that was in our original business plan.
Yeah.
14, 15 months ago.
Yeah.
So it takes a while to get through the red tape, for sure.
Well, and they always say in psychology or business and motivation, whatever it may be, that it helps to get something out there. Tell people, make your goals public, and it kind of puts the pressure on you so that you can't kind of sit by and put it off till the next day. So
yeah.
Put it out there and tell everybody, we're going to be in our own facility within a year, and if you don't, you feel like you've let people down. So
yeah.
Who knows, maybe this announcement will help you make sure that you get that goal accomplished.
Maybe.
So what drives you personally? I mean, in the morning, you told me, basically you're in the brewery every day, pretty much, and on the weekends even, you guys are traveling to different festivals and all that. What keeps you going in the morning? What do you think of when you wake up right away?
I think my bank account was wiped by this company. I got to bring it back somehow, right? I mean, you gotta work for it, and the only way to do it is, obviously, beer is something that I'm very passionate about. And don't get me wrong, it's not all about the money, but money helps, and we'd like to sort of get back what we put into the company and plus some. That's the goal of any entrepreneur. But yeah, like I said, I'm very passionate about beer. It's something that I know a lot about, and I've been doing for a long time. I used to work at Capitol Brewery in Middleton as a tour guide and bar manager and all this stuff, and I grew up a stone's throw away from Capitol Brewery as well, so my dad was always hanging out there. I just have a good palate for it, and I know enough about it that I could probably talk to you for days about it. But like I said, it's just something that is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So why get to work late and not make my dreams happen?
Yeah, you're on that passion side, and from my experience, you see almost a dichotomy of entrepreneurs, and a lot of them, you hear all the people say, do something you're passionate about, don't worry about it, the money will come. And in some ways it's true, but in some ways it's not. I mean, if you're really, really passionate about, I don't know, like making homemade curtains, like, yeah, you could be successful at it, but
do you have a closet
probably
business
not.
there? Or what do you...
No, I don't. I'm looking around the room for something as a hypothetical here, but if you have a passion for something, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can make money from it.
It's true.
So it's interesting to hear from people. I mean, you obviously have a passion for this, and there's money in it. So the challenge is finding that balance between the two, and we find that a lot of things in entrepreneurship is finding a balance between two different factors that you really can't just focus on one. You got to make sure both are in line before you're going to be successful at it. Just a couple more questions, and these are going to be more of the fun questions that we come up with here. So, a hypothetical situation here: you come into a windfall of about $100,000. What are you going to do with that money? You can only use it on your business, but if you had $100,000 suddenly come into you tomorrow, what are you going to do with it next week?
Gosh, you'd have to ask Henry about that.
Henry,
the finance guy.
The money man.
No, we'd probably buy equipment with it. You gotta make beer to make money, and if we can increase our capacity in any way, or if we can increase our cooperage in any way and get more beer out to the market at the same time, that does a lot for us. So I would say it would be buying either fermentation tanks or kegs, or maybe improving our processes in some way in terms of maybe buying a labeling machine so that we don't need to label one bottle at a time. That would save hours and hours and hours of man hours.
Are you guys hand labeling these bottles?
So we have a labeling machine, but it breaks about it doesn't break. It becomes misaligned about every 12 bottles. So
really?
It takes, the first 11 bottles of a case go really quickly, and then that last one is like 2 minutes of just fiddling with this freaking laser thing. So if we were to get one that's like an inline bottling or labeling machine onto our bottling machine, that would be something that would be almost invaluable to us. But definitely increasing processes or increasing our capacity.
At the moment, do you find that it sounds like right now you have more demand than you can supply? Is that the case?
I would say we're right around that right now. We have limited manpower in terms of sales power. That's mostly put on me, and we're going to some of the better bottle shops in Madison, the better bars in Madison, as well as Milwaukee. And we're currently trying to expand to different markets, but we're also self-distributed. So if we get in over our heads in terms of distributing beer, then we're going to run into issues with, we promised them beer on Tuesday, didn't get to them until Friday, and they're a little angry about it. So we don't want to get in over our heads on that. But I'd say that we can definitely sell what we produce right now.
Okay. So you have the bottles that you ship out or people pick up individually, individual customers, and then do you sell the bottles wholesale to bars, or do you sell kegs to bars, or both?
Yeah, so we do kegs to bars and bottles to liquor stores. Okay. And don't get our business model wrong, it is a lot about the crowdsourcing, but we also have a flagship line of beers. So we have the Batshit Crazy is our coffee cream nut brown ale, and that beer is brewed all year round. Okay. And we're starting to develop a line of seasonals. So right now we have a summer seasonal and a winter seasonal. And if a beer is popular enough, we might bring it back for a second run. So not everything is just one-ofs. We do have the flagship, the seasonals, and the second runs.
Okay, very cool.
But yeah, we're in Madison, Milwaukee, Green Bay, Eau Claire, and obviously Madison Metro. And then directly to your doorstep if you pre-order it.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to get into the last section here, which is mostly just kind of rapid questions, short answers. One of the things that I like to focus on, and Jordan, for those of you listening, couldn't make it today. He's actually in the middle of moving to Boulder, Colorado. So we wish him luck. But he and I both really enjoy books. I try to read as much as possible. I don't have as much time as I wish that I did, but what's one book that you'd recommend to other entrepreneurs or people hoping to start their own business?
So we kind of went over how failure is something that isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's a learning experience. There's this book that I read in college freshman year called Hermanisms, and it was by this friend. Actually, he's good friends with me. He's a good friend of mine, John Herman, and he's based out of Maryland. He's an ex Air Force guy. He worked with banks, basically liquidating businesses and sort of counseling those businesses and saying, failure isn't fatal. There's these things that you probably learned from this business, and take it into your next business and basically take it as a learning experience as opposed to a failure. And so it's called Hermanisms, and it's all about how failure isn't fatal. Okay. And I would say check that one out. Okay.
Yeah, well, and all the books that we ever post or that we ever hear about will be posted on the page for the interview on our website on driventobetter.com. That's driventobetter.com. Second question is, who is your biggest inspiration either in the beer world or the entrepreneurial world?
I would say in the entrepreneurial world, I would say Sam Walton.
Okay.
He turned from basically a little corner farmer's market stand to Walmart and Sam's Club. And in the basically the course of 40, 50 years, turned a $100 a day business into a $100 billion a year business.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'd say that's sort of the epitome if I could ever meet that guy. But I think he's dead. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure he is, but
I'm pretty sure he's
dead.
dead.
I'm not really positive. What is a tool or resource that you find yourself using really often in your business? It can be electronic or physical or whatever you use a lot.
Other people. You got to ask questions. You don't know everything. I would say using the people around you to come up with the best solution to a problem or whatever. Other than that, I mean, the laptop, Google.
Yeah.
Google's pretty valuable.
Oh yeah. All right, so that kind of wraps things up then. Last thing, just let us know how people can get in touch with you if they have, they can offer any advice to you, because like you said, having a network, people you can ask questions to is totally invaluable. So if anybody wants to get in touch with Mobcraft, how can they get in touch with you guys?
So all of our social handles are pretty much at Mobcraft Beer, one word. So Twitter is at Mobcraft Beer, Facebook is facebook.com/Mobcraft Beer, Untapped is untapped.com/Mobcraft Beer, Instagram's at Mobcraft Beer, YouTube /Mobcraft Beer. So it's pretty easy, but you can also email beer@mobcraftbeer.com.
Okay. And then everybody get on the website, mobcraftbeer.com.
Also, the vote goes from the 1st through the 21st of every month, so go to mobcraftbeer.com/vote, and you'll be able to vote.
Yeah, get on there, get yourself some beer. It's very reasonably priced for a 4-pack of Bombers. What is it, $25? $25.
And if you get it shipped, it's a little bit more, but if you were to break that down, it's about $6 a bottle. And if you were to go to a liquor store and get a Bomber, chances are you're paying $8, $9, $10 or more
for something you've probably already had.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Well, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. Everybody check out mobcraftbeer.com. Check out the show notes on driventobetter.com. We will have everything we mentioned here today, all the resources, the book, anything else we can think of to help you guys out in your journey to becoming a successful entrepreneur. Thanks again, Giotto, and we look forward to having you back in a year when you have your own space.
Oh, yeah. Target time.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Thanks again for joining us today. If you like what you hear, head over to driventobetter.com. Check out the show notes where we'll have everything we talked about here today. You can just search the name of the guest or their company, and that should pop up for you. While you're there, consider joining our DTB Plus Club. If you're not sure what that is, some of our guests will come to us with special offers, giveaways, contests, or discounts for our audience. The only way to get these is to become a member of the DTB Plus Club. In addition to bi-weekly emails with these offers, you'll also get exclusive access to the Plus Club private Facebook page. This is a place where like-minded entrepreneurs and soon-to-be entrepreneurs gather and exchange ideas, tips, and advice. Our guests talk a lot about having a support community, and the DTB Plus Club is just that. The best part is it's absolutely free to join. So head over to driventobetter.com now and check it out. Thanks again. See you next time.